Knowing the best way to export Office documents to PDF is essential to make PDF files that are excellent for everyone and with the least amount of effort required. Fortunately, by having already built accessibility into your document, you've already slashed the amount of time it's going to take to get a great PDF from your document. And using them correctly is essential to be able to make documents accessible for people living with disabilities. It's really easy to learn the best recipe for exporting to PDF, and soon you'll be doing it in only minutes per file and with no trade-offs. I'm David Berman, and today I'm demonstrating for you how to export from Office to PDF, specifically from Word files. And I'm demonstrating on Windows. Unfortunately, the recipe I show you today doesn't work on Mac OS. There isn't a great recipe for Mac OS. The best way to export Word to PDF is using Windows. So I'm showing you in Microsoft Office for Windows today, and as I go, I'm going to describe what I'm doing so you can learn what you need just by listening or by reading the captions. And making great PDF files is essential if you want them to be part of your effort to have all of your communications conform to accessibility standards, such as WCAG 2.0 or 2.1. So the file I'm showing on screen today is a sample file that's not yet accessible. However, we're going to export it from Word 365, the latest version of Word 365 in Windows. The technique I'm going to show works similarly well in Excel or PowerPoint, but I'm showing it to you in Word. So, in Word, I'm showing the same document I've shown in several other videos, our staff report on 123 Main Street, and I'm going to the Acrobat ribbon in Word. Now, there's only going to be an Acrobat ribbon in Word if you've installed Adobe Acrobat onto the same computer that your Microsoft Office is installed on. And although Word includes a way that you can export to PDF out of the box without having installed other software, if you want to get the best PDF files with the least effort, you need to have installed a PDF editor of some sort. That could be Acrobat, or it could be Foxit, it could be Nuance. There's several other third-party tools out there that allow you to edit PDF files, and they all include a plugin for Word. The most popular one is Acrobat, so I'm going to show that today. But since you're going to have to make some tweaks to your resulting PDF file in one of those tools anyway, you're going to have an editor that is not in the Microsoft Office suite installed on your computer. And so let's make sure we have one installed now. Furthermore, we're going to do it on Windows because unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, the Acrobat add-on for Mac OS has a bug since 2018 that denies us the ability to follow the recipe I'm going to show you on Mac OS. And Adobe's not telling us when they're going to fix that. So that's why we're showing this with the Acrobat ribbon on Windows. Now, most of what I show you, you only have to do once. You set up your preferences just so. That's going to take us about 5 minutes. And then once they're set, we're going to save that as a profile of settings. And then in the future on this computer, whenever I want to create a PDF from Word, all I have to do is make my PDF, and it'll take us a minute or two. But however, first I'm going to set up the settings so you can do them as well on your machine. And this is what we do. So in the Acrobat ribbon, I'm selecting the Acrobat ribbon now. The second command on the ribbon is called Preferences. And so I'm going to select Preferences now, and up comes a window called the Acrobat PDF Maker. Oddly, that's what the window is called. And we're going to make several settings. Now, there's a pile of settings in here, but we're going to leave most of them just as they are because we're only going to tweak the ones required to make settings that optimize the quality of the PDF file we get regarding accessibility. You can change all the other settings for whatever reason you want to, having to do with other things having to do with your PDF. But for accessibility, this is all you need to do. And for most of you, the rest of the settings are just fine anyhow, accessibility aside. So on this first window, the first thing I do is I have to make sure that there's the checkbox called Enable Accessibility and Reflow with tagged Adobe PDF. This checkbox, I'm going to make sure it's checked. So if it were unchecked, I check that. Now there's a sub-checkbox underneath that, immediately following it, called Enable Advanced Tagging. And that sounds really tempting. You're thinking, oh, I should turn that one on. I want advanced tagging. No, do not check that checkbox. Leave it unchecked. And you'll only see that checkbox in Word. If you're setting up in Excel, for example, it won't be there at all. Now, we're going to go to the Advanced Setting button on this same window. And so I select the Advanced Setting button, and now another window comes up, and it's got a whole set of different settings I can choose. And so the first part of these settings I will do is go to the General section. That's the first on this list of 6 possibilities on the submenu. I select General. And then on this pane, there's a checkbox called Optimize for Fast Web View. Now, we want it to be unchecked. So if it's already checked, we uncheck it. Now, I go to another section of these advanced settings. I go to the Fonts panel. So I select the word Fonts. It's the third of the 6 settings on the sub-panel. And in here, I need to make sure that the subset embedded fonts when % of characters used is less than checkbox is checked. So I'm going to uncheck that just to show you how to check it. And now I check it. And then there's a percentage field over to the right, just beyond, immediately following that checkbox. I'm going to make sure that it's set to 1. And that's it for the Fonts panel. Except there's a list here called the Never Embed font list. And it's unlikely there's anything in your Never Embed list. But if there's anything in your Never Embed list, we want to empty that list because we want all fonts to get embedded. So for example, I'm going to embed a font right now. I'm going to take, let's say, Algerian here, just a random font. And I'm going to select the Add button. And now my Never Embed list has a font on the list. And if you get to here and you have any fonts at all on this Never Embed list, then we want you to remove. I'm selecting the Remove button on the Never Embed list, and that takes the fonts away. So once we get to the point where there's nothing on our Never Embed list, we've satisfied that window. And now I've got all my settings the way I need them to be stored on my preferences. And so I now select the Save As button, and I can give my preferences a name. So let's say I decide I'm going to call them, up comes this Save As window, and I can call this anything I want. So let's say I just decide to call it My Accessibility. And what's going to result is savings of a special settings file called the Job Options file. So job options files all have an extension of .job options. And so my settings are now going to be in a settings file called my-accessibility.joboptions, and I save that. And now they're stored. So I'm now going to select OK. And now my settings are the way they want them to be. I select OK, and we're done setting up our preferences. And what's extra cool about that job options file is, let's say you've got 500 people in your organization and you want them all to have these very same settings. You could actually take that job options file, with the one we just created, and circulate it amongst all your colleagues, and they all put it in that same folder you saw it was stored in. And now everyone has the job options the way they should be, and they don't have to do what we just did for 5 minutes. So now our preferences are set up, and now we're ready to use them over and over again for any file we'd like to export. And let's see how we do that. So now it's the moment we want to create a PDF file from my Word file. And so now I go to that same Acrobat ribbon, and I choose the first item on the ribbon called Create PDF. So I select Create PDF, and now I'm going to choose a name for my file, but also we're going to just have to check one option. Oddly, this is an option you cannot pre-select in the preferences, and so we have to go set this option each time. I choose the Options button in the Save As menu, and up comes another window called Acrobat PDF Maker, but it's got different choices, different PDF options. And there's two things we're going to do every time we save a PDF file in here. The first is we're going to double check that the Enable Accessibility and Reflow with Tagged Adobe PDF checkbox is checked. It usually remembers, but since we're here, we can check, yep, it's checked. But the other part is the crucial reason we came. It is to make sure we select this Create Bookmarks checkbox. And the reason we're doing that is because we want all of the, if you were with me in another video where we created an excellent heading structure in our Word file, which is essential to making an accessible Word file, we want that excellent heading structure to now result automatically in bookmarks in the PDF file we're creating. So if this is left unchecked, we won't get these bookmarks for free. But if we check here, our heading structure in our Word file is going to generate perfect bookmarks in the PDF file. Now, once we've checked this checkbox, we also have to check the first checkbox immediately under it called Convert Word Headings to Bookmarks, because that's how we get those word headings to become bookmarks. And then we're going to leave these other two checkboxes below it unchecked. We do not want it to convert our word styles to bookmarks. We do not want to convert our word bookmarks. If you're an advanced user, there may be situations where you want to create bookmarks by hand in your Word file and have them be part of your bookmarks in Adobe Acrobat. You're welcome to do that. But we always want to have the first checkbox checked, the second of these three unchecked, the third one usually unchecked, but it's possible there's advanced use where you do that. And now we select OK. So now our settings are ready for this one file. I select Save, and I agree to save my file. And the Acrobat PDF Maker is chewing away, converting to Acrobat PDF. And poof, we're done. It shows you the resulting PDF in your PDF editor. And that's it. We've learned how to create our settings forever in Word, and how to then export those settings, export to PDF using those settings every time. So there's a lot more we could get into about how to now perfect that PDF file in your PDF editor, such as Acrobat. That's a whole nother lesson. But today, that's the end of our lesson on how to make PDF file the best way, the most sustainable way from Word files and other Office files. And hey, accessibility with no trade-offs. It's what we love. So if you'd like to go deeper, ask questions, contact us at wcag2.com, WCAG digit2.com. We love to teach. We love to share. We love to see you next time.